It is literally guaranteed that there will be a live event this season, and with build up and other secrets on the island, we might know what might happen. And so in this video, I'm going to predict the end of season 2 live event. For example, in this video, I'm going to talk about how will the unseen be involved in this event, how exactly will the last reality attack the island of Asteria, and what could the syndicates do to stop the last reality from approaching the island. And so welcome to my theories on this season's live event. Before I start the video, I really appreciate it if you like and subscribe, that would be very nice and helpful. Anyway, let's get straight into the video. So first we're going to talk about the syndicates. The main syndicate of this season is the Peace Syndicate, who were first introduced in Chapter 3 Season 3, and their leader is Eggs, who we have never seen before. The main two members of the Peace Syndicate this season is Evie and Thunder. Thunder owns a sushi restaurant, whilst Evie is the Peace Syndicate's secret weapon, whilst the other two members who are currently dormant are Twin and Stashed. Now Evie and Thunder are the main protagonists of the Syndicate quests, and we get in touch with the Peace Syndicate by hacking arcade machines. Right, that's enough about the Peace Syndicate, let's get into the River Guard. A Battle Pass skin who is in the River Guard this season is known as Mizuki. Mizuki has control to water-based powers. Something that Mizuki and the rest of the River Guard also have is power to the storm, but they normally use this power when they are in rage. Now Mizuki actually has a little brother, but let's get into that right now, as Mizuki's brother is actually Stray, who is a member of the Fox Clan, and we've actually known of the Fox Clan for many years. Now you could probably think that Stray is young and weak, but no, he is actually quite strong. The Fox Clan have built their own blades, katanas, and all their kind of weapons like that. And when their weapons comes war, basically the Fox Clan have actually been in wars with the River Guard and all sorts. But if any harm is caused on Stray, Mizuki will use her powers to retaliate. Now in the first batch of Syndicate quests this season, basically the Saboteur corrupted all of the Peace Syndicate's files on the last reality, and Evie and Thunder told us that we had to earn the trust of every syndicate, because the Peace Syndicate are gonna need a lot of help to save Mega City, but I will get more into that later. Now the syndicates are not done yet, as they need to earn the trust of the Fox Clan and the River Guard, in which that is up to us as a looper. To impress the River Guard, we had to survive storm phases whilst carrying a valuable weapon, and to impress the Fox Clan, we had to show off our skills with a kinetic blade, and that was done. But then we just needed to secure a meeting, and it would be held at Thunder's very own sushi restaurant. Now the two syndicates have tried to reunite before, but mostly it fails and ends in arguments, but it wasn't like that this time, because they actually managed to make peace and agreed to fight the Saboteur and the rest of the last reality. But now the Saboteur has got a new target, and they are the Luminaries, the fourth syndicate. The Luminaries are used to the last reality because their homeworld was taken over by it, and that is believed where the Herald came from, who has still actually got files on returning, but I'll get more into that later. Now the Luminaries are a plant tech based syndicate, and the Saboteur took some of their special equipment and tech. Now if we could recover the equipment for the Luminaries, then there could be a chance that the Peace Syndicate could make peace with the Luminaries, and that's what we did. And if we succeeded, then the Luminaries will stand next to us on the battlefield against the last reality and the Saboteur. So what have the syndicates got to do with this season's live event? Well, it is obvious that the Peace Syndicate will be leading the battle plans and the war, but we are going to have to borrow some weapons, and we would borrow those weapons from the Fox Clan and the River Guard, and maybe even the Luminaries. Now this is just a theory, but another character that could probably play part in this season's live event is Highwire. Highwire is working with the Saboteur, and the Saboteur is trying their best to keep Highwire hidden and secret. Now you may ask, what has Highwire got to do with the syndicates? Well, she's actually got a lot, because if you look at her appearance, you can see an X on her hood, and this references the Peace Syndicate. Highwire can also wear a fox helmet, and an animal that is scared of wolves are foxes, so this references the Fox Clan, and those blue glowing pads all over her body references the River Guard. Now it is unknown whether Highwire has similarities with the Luminaries, but this may be because the Luminaries are intellectual and the other syndicates are not. Now Highwire's description is chaos is a game and she always wins, and Triarchnox says to Highwire, if chaos is the game, we must play to win. And so Highwire is a distraction towards the other syndicates, and so the other syndicates will obviously use their power to fight her and the Unseen. And if the syndicates manage to pass Highwire and the Unseen, unseen, but then it is going to be the syndicates face to face with the last reality. But before we get more into the event, let's go over the other factions of this season. The next faction that is important to season 2 is actually one that was introduced in this season, and I am talking about the Unseen. The Unseen are a cult and they are wanted in Mega City. The reason why the Unseen are wanted is because they would cause chaos in Mega City without a purpose. And so technically you would think they're just a crime gang. Well no, they're a lot more than that. Anyway, let's get into the members of the Unseen. One member of the Unseen is known as Dahlia. Dahlia is a self-built robot with incredible biohacking skills. They say that Dahlia has eyes everywhere in the Mega City, but Dahlia needs a co-partner for all of her chaos that she's going to be causing, so meet Styx. Styx may look like a goth, but he has incredible skills at causing chaos. Now, the traits of Styx have not been revealed yet. We don't even know what Styx's role is in the Unseen. To be honest, it might just be to cause chaos with Dahlia to be her fully co-partner, or it could be something else. We don't really know the full story of Styx yet. But like Dahlia, he still does have intentions of causing chaos in Mega City. Now, Styx, Dahlia, and Triarch Nox, who I'll get to in a minute, basically have wanted signs all over the island. But an Unseen member who hasn't got one is Highwire. A minute ago I spoke about how Highwire fits into almost every syndicate with references all over her body. And I spoke about how Highwire could be a distraction. A distraction to the syndicates while the last reality can get on with their plan. And I know I keep on mentioning the last reality, but I promise I'll get into them in a minute. Now recently another batch of survey skins were revealed, and basically there were actually a couple of more Unseen members in these survey skins. For example, there is Kit in a more mechanized suit, but how do we know that this cat is in the Unseen? Well, have a look, that's the logo. But then check this skin out, who is pretty cool, and look, there's the logo. Oh, this skin is quite cool, reminds me a bit of Link's, but oh, what's that on her necklace? Ah, the logo. This is the Unseen's logo. And does it remind you of anything? Well, yes, it does. It reminds you of Triarch Nox. This silver thing on Nox's head, well, is actually a crown. Compare it to the Unseen logo. It matches with Nox's horn and even the diamond in the middle of his head. Now, at the end of part 3 of the Syndicate quests, we had to talk to Mystica. And in the part before, we had to talk to either Stray or Mizuki. But in part 4 of these quests, we have to talk to Renzo the Destroyer, who is the level 1 skin in this season's Battle Pass. Now, we were confused about Renzo's story before, but now we kind of know a little bit of it. We now know that he has connections with the Unseen, and he is actually a close friend with Dahlia. But when we go up to the Renzo NPC, he will say this: "The final reality army cannot conquer the Mega City. That task is mine. They will pay for this. What is my name? Renzo Pacifier." So yeah, Renzo wants Mega City for himself. But the thing is, Renzo is a part of the Unseen. And so if Renzo wants the city, then he's gonna have to fight with their ally, also known as the Last Reality. And this will end very badly because the TLR have got so much more power than the Unseen. But Renzo's got to do something about Dahlia because she is very focused with Styx working with the Last Reality. And so this might not be correct. The Unseen couldn't just get in a war with the Syndicates as well. They could probably get in wars with the Last Reality as well, even though some of their members are even allies with them. It's just Renzo is acting very jealous and he wants his own way. But are the Unseen the bad guys? The Last Reality are bad, sure, but some members of the Unseen don't have intentions of working with them. And Renzo's plans are to destroy Mega City, but Dahlia is being corrupted by the Last Reality, and she's doing a lot of stuff that Renzo doesn't like. But how could this tie in with a live event? Well, it's literally obvious that we're going to be fighting some sort of the Unseen and the Last Reality in the live event. And we might also see Styx and Dahlia as well, and maybe even Highwire. But we are going to have to wait for the future quests to really hear from Renzo, as part 4 of the Syndicate quests are mainly going to be about him. But we know that Highwire loves causing chaos, and Triarch Nox wants Highwire to cause chaos as well. But does Triarch Nox know about the existence of Renzo? Because if not, and they find out that they have the same intentions, because if so, the two could probably grow a rivalry stronger than no other. Renzo will know about the existence of the Syndicates. This is because they're going to have to make contact with him in the next quests. But maybe Renzo doesn't care about the Syndicates. Renzo would only really care about his plans on retrieving Mega City. Now, this live event will be all about Mega City and who can retrieve it first. And so will it be Renzo, Dahlia and the other Unseen members, the Last Reality, or the Syndicates? We don't know, we're gonna have to find out. But no matter what happens, I honestly think that Mega City will be no more next season. Chapter 2 Season 7 was a season that involved a faction in the storyline called The Last Reality. And since then, they have become one of the most important factions to the whole storyline. But now fast forward to Season 2, where they are still important to this day. Right now on the island, there is a member of The Last Reality named Triarch Nox. We have seen him before by survey skins, but now he is actually in the game. Now the name Triarch Nox, that means he's part of a triarchy. Now the word triarchy means three rulers. At first, some people believed that the triarchy was between Nox, a Cube Queen, and a Herald. And that could be true, but honestly, it's not confirmed. And now, we did actually predict the Triarchy members another time, and it would be between these survey skins. Now, we thought this because of their overall designs. Now, Nox is literally one of the most important characters in this season. Not just because he's the Saboteur, also he's working with the Unseen, which I actually spoke about. Now, Nox actually has an NPC location on the map, and in Lonely Labs, he stands near the Peace Syndicate's terminals. And when you go up to him with a normal skin, he will say, "I advise staying away from those terminals." Now, Nox actually has a lot of special dialogue within characters. For example, when you go up to the Triarch Nox NPC with Highwire, he will say, "If chaos is the game, we must play to win." And I actually spoke about this dialogue a couple of minutes ago. When you go up to the Triarch Nox skin with Renzo, Nox will say, "You may conquer the light, but I will take the dark places in between," which is actually quite cryptic, to be honest. So I will mention this dialogue again because it is quite revealing. Now, if you are wearing the Nox skin and go up to the skin of Dahlia, Dahlia would say true empires are built quietly in the shadows. And so yeah, Dahlia's intention is to build an empire with Nox. And if you go up to Styx, he will say, "Someday, buddy, you gotta tell me where you're from." This confirms that the Unseen doesn't really have that much intel on Nox. So we know that the Last Reality's main power sources are cubes, the Sideways, Chrome, and aliens. And we know that the Cube Queen controls cubes, the aliens, and the Sideways, whilst the Herald has the power of the Chrome. Now, these two villains have not been seen for a while. While the Cube Queen, her status is unknown. But the Herald, we have a little bit of info about. So we know that the Herald chromed herself in the Fracture event. This led her to merge with the Reality Tree. Now, the Herald is actually on the map right now, just carved into the Reality Tree. And when you go up to this location, you can actually hear some breathing. And also recently, the texture of the dirt under her is actually been updated. And so this could be a coincidence. Thanks to Mystica, we can believe that the Herald used to be a luminary, but then joined the army of the Last Reality, and that's where she gained her abilities with the Chrome. Right now, the fact that the Herald statue is right next to the NPC location of Styx just makes it quite suspicious. And there is actually another leaked variant with the Herald in the survey skins, and this one gives you like a more armored and amber design. So far I spoke about Nox, the Herald, and the Cube Queen. But did you know there is a woman who fits into both of these skins? And her name is Serenade. This is Serenade, and she might seem like a normal skin, but well, she is not. She is way more than that. It is all about design with Serenade, and her designs on her body mean a lot. On the side of Serenade's body, there is Chrome, which fits into the Herald. On the side of her body, there is this blue liquid, which actually relates her to the Cube Queen. And some of Serenade's jewelry actually relates her to Triarch Nox. So Serenade arrived in the Attack on Titan update. And in this update, she also brought more monoliths to the island. Even though these monoliths on screen were already here on launch of Season 2, but there are monoliths in the Mega biome, there are monoliths in the Oathbound biome, and there are also monoliths in the Ice biome. And so Serenade has definitely got something to do with the Last Reality, but we don't know what her full role is. But the question is, how will Serenade be a part of the event? Well, we don't really know. There are many theories within Serenade. Some people could think that she is related to Stellan, and some people even believe that she is a disguised variant of the Cube Queen. But obviously that is not confirmed. Okay, so now I'm gonna get back into the Herald, and I actually have a theory about her. But it's honestly not that good, and there isn't much proof to support it. So going back to when I said that the Herald tree is near the location of Styx, well, maybe Styx wants something to do with the Herald. Maybe Styx wants to revive the Herald. Maybe Nox made a deal with the Unseen, and so if he helps them, then maybe the Unseen could assist in bringing back the Herald. But remember guys, this is just a theory, so it may be wrong. But my honest theory with Serenade is that I don't really think she'll have anything to do with the event. Well, she might, I don't know. But what I do know is that something suspicious is going on. Something suspicious between Styx and Dahlia. Now, if you go up to the Styx NPC whilst wearing Dahlia, Styx would say, "Are we ready to make our move yet?" Well, what move is this? Now, this piece of dialogue from Styx obviously has something to do with the live event. And to make it even more suspicious, if you go up to the Styx NPC whilst wearing another unseen member apart from Dahlia, he will say a completely different thing. And I mean, if you go up to Styx with Highwire, Styx will say, you know, I only listen to Dahlia, right? We know Dahlia and Styx are co-partners in crime. But the question is, what is this move? Well, I might know, so forget Styx, we're only talking about Dahlia now. Did you know the name Dahlia actually has a definition? Well, more of a translation. The name Dahlia originates from Lithuanian mythology, and Dahlia means the goddess of fate. And a goddess of fate associates with betrayal, dishonesty, and instability. We knew Dahlia was a bad person, but there's one word in that sentence which really gives me a theory, and that is betrayal. Could Dahlia betray the unseen to go with the last reality? We know that Renzo did have a feeling that Dahlia was getting too corrupted by the last reality. And that is true, Dahlia is way too corrupted by the last reality. Now, Nox, Highwire, Renzo, and Serenade are for sure villains of this season, but I honestly think that the real villain of this season is Dahlia. Dahlia's intentions are so bad, and this honestly makes her a super villain. Recently, I've been making a series of TikToks about Fortnite villains who are either broken or pure evil. And I put Dahlia as pure evil. But if I had the opportunity of putting Styx, well, I would say that he is broken. This is because he's doing way too much stuff for Dahlia, and Dahlia is literally controlling him at this point. And Styx literally confirms that when Highwire goes up to him. But the question is, what is this move? Well, we are not 100% sure. We can speculate that it definitely has something to do with chaos, as the two of them and Triarch Nox are wanted in Mega City. But the fact that Styx only mentions this to Dahlia means that it isn't gonna end well. Well, of course it'll end well for the two of them, but it will not end well for us. And when we go up to Mystica in the Syndicate quest, she thinks that the Unseen are actually fools. And I think she's calling them fools because they're being corrupted. Well, mainly Dahlia. She's being way too corrupted. And I believe that Renzo did have a feeling that working with the last reality was a bad idea, and maybe he's right. And we know that the name of Dahlia associates with betrayal. And Dahlia is literally corrupting Styx to help her betray the Unseen, and this is where dishonesty comes in. Dahlia is getting manipulated by the lost reality, making her unstable. And this is of course where instability comes in. So this quote-unquote move definitely has something to do with the live event. And my theory is that Dahlia's move is to betray the Unseen. But that is just a theory, I could be wrong. But how can I mention a live event without mentioning the cracks around the island? Since the last two updates, a wave of cracks have been appearing around the location of the 0 point. And these cracks are getting a lot worse by the day, and so these miniature earthquakes are happening around the island, and don't get me wrong, they're pretty strong. Now, we have reason to believe why these cracks are being caused by the hot spring location near Mega City, which if you didn't know is actually a dormant volcano. These hot springs will definitely have a part to play in the event, and if you look carefully, there is actually a lava trail which goes into Mega City, and so this volcano could be the cause of Mega City's fall. Now, a person who is involved in the storyline community a lot is Tedious X, and he had a theory of that, you know, the 0 point in middle, and Tedious thinks that these cracks are occurring because basically the 0 point is surrounded by 3 fractured areas, which are the Mega Biome, the Oathbound Biome, and the Ice Biome. And this is actually a very good theory from Tediousy. And so I'll leave his channel link in the description down below, go sub to it, he does make some awesome videos. And the 0 point does actually have chance in returning as the files for it were updated. And to be honest, it's quite good that it's returning because since the start of chapter 4, it's kind of just been sitting there doing nothing. And next season is believed to be tropical themed, and there is actually leaks to do with the volcano and ash. And so this location is definitely going to play a part in the event, and could most likely be the cause of Mega City's fall. But another faction that is very important in the Fortnite storyline is the 7. Now, there isn't really any confirmation that they could return in the event, but there is confirmation that they will return soon. Thanks to VHS Soho, he revealed that Donald Mustard was in a meeting and they spoke about the 7. And Mustard replied back with the 7 story will continue, but they need to find a way back alive again. I know this does seem confusing, but I did actually make a 2-minute video about it, so link in the description down below. It is generally unknown whether Amy will bring back the 7 in the event, but we're just gonna have to wait and see at this point. Okay, so as this is a video about an event, I do need to talk about timings. So we know that Season 2 ends on June the 9th, but that means that the event would be on a weekday, and so that means people would have school. And since the last year and a half, Epic Games have made their events happen on a weekend, well, morely Saturday. And to make this event happen on a weekend, all Epic need to do is just delay the event by 1 day. So now we're going to talk about the name of this event, in which right right now it is unconfirmed. But one that I thought of was the Battle for Mega City. Even though this name does sound a bit cheesy, we don't really have any ideas for other names. But I do think I know when we can find out the name of this event. So if you remember that the Fracture event was revealed in the FNCS Finals, and in this season the FNCS Finals are happening in 6 days. So like the Fracture event, we might actually figure out the name of this event in the FNCS Finals. And the time of this event will most likely be around 9 PM UK time. But anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I did spend a bit of time on this video, so a like and sub would always be appreciated. But guys, remember my theory. Serenade, Nox, Highwire, Styx, and Renzo may not be the main villains of this season. It could be Dahlia. Now keep that in mind.